Order in the court.
Welcome to another episode of Rap in Order. I'm First Class Regg.
I'm Taurian B.
How we feeling today, sir? That's a good shirt.
Thank you. My Billy Joel, man. Sold out Madison Square Garden, baby, record. I'm good, man. It's been a good week. I actually thought today was Saturdays for some reason when I woke up. I don't know why. I don't have a good explanation for that.
Yeah, this week kind of just flew, man. I don't know, like doing like side projects and everything. I was out of town, as you know. I was in California. Yeah, I was in California for some work shit, and which was dope. It was my first. You ever been to San Francisco?
I have not. I almost went to San Francisco once, but I decided not to and stayed in LA.
Yeah. So San Fran is cool. It's breezy as hell. Like it gets really cold. When I got out there, a couple of my coworkers picked me up, and we went to we biked the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but then when we was biking, it was windy as shit. Like it's really, really windy on that bridge. But like we biked the whole thing and came back, and then we went and got some food and stuff, which was cool. It was one night though that I was out there, and it was like really windy, and I was like, damn, like I'm out here, and San Fran is like an hour from where I was staying. And I was like, yo, I need like a hoodie or something if I'm gonna be out here. So I found this smoke shop. Went to the smoke shop, I walked in, and it just was a random hoodie just there, like this red hoodie. So I was like, I'm gonna just buy that. It looked like my size. I bought it, I put it on. The dude was like, are y'all from around here? We was like, nah. And he was like, all right, well, don't wear that hoodie on 23rd. And I was like,
yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I was waiting for you to get to that part. Hoodie in anywhere in California, and you just think like, oh yeah, I should wear that. Like, no, Regg.
It was the only hoodie there. It was like it's not like it was a bunch of colors and I picked that one. It was literally the only hoodie, and I was like, well, you don't have no more sizes? And he was like, nah, that's like the only one I have. That's the only color I have. I was like, well, why would you carry this color? You know where you at? Why would you carry? So I'm like, where am I? He was like, well, in this area, you good, but just don't walk to 23rd. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means.
You know what the fuck that mean, nigga? You heard Kendrick Lamar album?
I know.
Where your grandmama stay?
I know what it mean, but like, I don't know where I'm at. Am I close to 23rd? So like, when I was walking outside, and I looked up and I see 22nd Street, and I'm like, where am I? Am I walking up? Am I walking down? Like the nigga was specific. Like he said, don't walk on 23rd. So I'm like, yo, I just want to get off this strip. Like I feel like a target right now. Like legit. I have red on. I'm in the hood. Like
there wasn't like another, like you mean to tell me there wasn't a Target in sight?
Bro, everything closes out there by 10 p.m.
Okay, it was that night. So okay.
Yeah, by like 10 p.m.
I can tell you this in the future, even like I get like usually we go to Southern California, but like if you go to California, always pack a hoodie because at night, if you go to the West Coast, always pack a hoodie because it's cold at night.
Yeah. No, so I planned for that, but like I didn't expect to be in San Francisco so long because I was out there in the day, carried into the night because I packed the jacket, but I was at my hotel. So like, you know, it worked out. You know, I made it out unscathed.
Yeah, unscathed. You're safe. I'm glad to hear that. That story is hilarious. Yeah, my life was not in danger during this little break that we've had. We just had like quite a few things happen. I think everybody's Drake and Kendrick Lamar out.
Yeah.
We don't have to like rehash that. Obviously the stuff with Diddy and Cassie came out, the video, which was horrific.
Mm-hmm.
That really sucked seeing that, you know, Puff being somebody that like we grew up like watching and listening to. You know, we've heard the murmurs and we've heard the rumors for years, but like, you know, now knowing like, you know what I'm saying, like, damn, like this is real, we have it on camera or whatever, like that really sucks, you know. And I think it makes a lot of people like question a lot of things about how they want to go forward, like with his listening to his music. But I think that's really hard because it's like he executive produced so many albums.
Yeah. It's definitely going to change a lot of things. I think, you know, I don't want to say took the fall, but he is going to be the ripple effect. Like it's going to be, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
There's gonna be more shit that comes out. He's been around and been so embedded in our culture for over 30 years. So that's just one sign. Like people, and it sucks that it's happening. And it's just that like I see now that Jay-Z is a topic of discussion of like, yo,
Yeah,
Jay-Z.
that kind of doesn't sit well with me. Like one of my friends was like, "Well, Jaguar Wright gotta know," and I'm like, I'm not saying that the woman's crazy or anything, but like I just feel like I don't think Jaguar Wright has been around these people for years. Like I definitely know that she was around at one point, because like she's a talented artist and like she was in demand. But like once like
Ain't she on didn't she do Unplugged with Hov?
yeah, she did Unplug with Jay, and like she used to travel with the Roots band, and she had a project come out. And if I'm not mistaken, I think she was on J Records. That's Clive Davis's record label.
Yeah.
Where Alicia Keys was the flagship artist. Yeah, and I just think that like she says like a lot of like buzzwordy shit, or like she just says like certain stuff where it's just like kind of like, all right, well, no shit, like, but
Yeah.
she's accused she's made a lot of accusations, and I'm not saying that she's lying, but she said that Common raped her, like she said Black Thought has, like, yeah, like she's
I didn't see none of that. All I've been seeing from her, all I've been seeing from her is that the shit about Aaliyah with where they add like the scary music and she talking to the camera, and the allegations about Hov and
yeah,
a bunch of stuff that I've seen, but I haven't seen that. That's crazy.
And she just says like mad. She says a lot of like random shit. Like she said that that Beyonce's father got her with Jay-Z because she wouldn't stop fucking everybody in the industry. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, that I don't know. Yeah, man. Jaguar White. And then she used to date Cat Williams. I think she said, and yeah. So I don't know. We're gonna find something out in these next.
yeah, I mean, something's gonna come to the light. I would be really upset if something came out about Jay-Z in the same realm of what Diddy has going on. I think eventually I think I can make peace with Diddy, but with Jay-Z that would be very hard for me.
That's gonna be very disappointing, man. It's like everything. I was talking to my cousin about it, and she's like, "Yo, like everything from my childhood, like as a millennial, this shit is like tough because it's like these are things that shaped the way that we lived in the entertainment realm. So it's like grew up listening to all of these people. Some people have modeled careers off of some of these people. Some people have like, you look at them as influences. Mogul in the hip hop community became such a cool thing. Like, and then you only had a select few that you could look at like that.
I agree, and I mean, shit. Think about this, right? Like, if we really like break it down, you got Bill Cosby, somebody who was pretty much like told us like how the Black American family should be modeled after, right? Then you got Harvey Weinstein, who was the producer of all of these like great Miramax films that like we loved, and now we have Puff, a person that kind of like helped construct like the soundtrack to like our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's not going to stop. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be more, but like, it just sucks. Like finding out like these people, like that, like we like revere and like idolize so much. Like, I guess are human, and like, and sometimes like they have like very like evil ways about them, man. And it just sucks like finding that out. I guess that's why like you should never like idolize a person way too much.
Yeah, that's true. That's what it's taught us. I mean, Cat Williams kicked this motherfucker off, didn't he?
Didn't he? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to move on because I'm getting sad.
Yeah, yeah, we can get right into what were you gonna bring up?
No, I was gonna say I wanted to know your thoughts about the Apple Music top 100 albums of all time list.
So these lists, I get the idea, right? Because with these lists, saying something saying an opinion in such a definitive way is gonna cause a ruckus every time, and that's what they wanted to do. So like saying like these are the 100 best albums of whatever ever or whatever, you automatically going into it like, what is this, right? And it's exactly what I did. But when I went into it and reading Ebro's criteria, it's still a bunch of bullshit. It still doesn't quite add up. Like the way it doesn't even stick to its own criteria because one of the things that it lists was about
Let's list them off right now. I'll say them. Albums that represented a cultural moment for the artist or genre. Albums that were complete thoughts, not just collections of hit songs. Albums that thoroughly represent culture and production and lyrics. Albums that inspired a generation to want to create more music. Albums that represent the best in storytelling, musicianship, recording, and production. Albums that are timeless and reach far beyond the genre categorization.
Yeah. There's some okay. So under that criteria, there's some albums on there. The artists are correct, but the albums are wrong. Like I wouldn't put, based on that criteria, I wouldn't put Control by Janet Jackson on there. I would put Velvet Rope. Like that was like a career defining album for her.
I would have put I would have put Rhythm Nation.
See, even that. I would even took Rhythm Nation, but Control, that's like that was a big moment for her, you know, to reclaim herself and to take quote unquote control of her career.
Mm-hmm.
And the disrespect with you got to look at how they look at R&B because you got Confessions at like 90 something. There's no Mariah Carey album. I would have put Emancipation of Mimi on there. I would have put Never Say Never on there. Never Say Never was huge.
Okay. I'm letting you go because I actually don't have an argument against any of it.
Yeah, but it's kind of just crazy because, and I think I seen a clip of Jermaine Dupri talking about it because obviously his tie-in to that is he had a lot to do with those albums that were like basically snubbed.
Three of them.
Yeah. So, and I understood where he was coming from because it's like his attachment aside, it's like, yo, how did you not bring up a Mariah Carey album? Even if you want to talk about just 2005. 2005 was like what she did in that era, and We Belong Together, and that album. Everybody had that. I was making albums back then, and everybody was asking me to make them that album. I'm selling
that. Was your most requested, Rich?
I got a pair of J's off that.
So for me, my biggest problem with the list was that they set those markers for what had to hit, right? But there was no consistency.
Yeah.
Because the way I have to take it is that, all right, if you're putting this album in front of that album, I'm thinking that you're saying that this album is the best of its genre. So so for me, like Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit, I won't argue that might be like one of the best rock albums ever or the best rock album ever. And, you know, for that or alternative rock album, right? I didn't agree. Like I'm just talking about, I'm going to consolidate it. I'm just going to talk about the top 10. I didn't agree with Good Kid, Mad City being in the top 10. I love Good Kid, Mad City, but I don't think Good Kid, Mad City is better than Illmatic. Thriller being number 2, I had a big problem with that because I think Thriller should have been number 1. I love the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I was okay with the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill maybe being 3 behind Thriller and Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. But that's, you know, like I said, it's all like preference, but like also I'm taking my preference out of it and I'm just going in like the albums that I've always like thought in my head were like the quintessential albums.
Yeah.
You know what? And this is going to be funny coming from me, but you know, the Beast Boys' Pet Sounds has been an album that like I've been like told is like a cornerstone album for just music, for melody, for just like what music is, right? And I have listened to it, and I'm like, I can't argue with this. This is not something I will listen to every day, but I listened to it and I understood the art and understood why this album is hailed that way. Mm-hmm. So there were just certain albums that like just really like kind of like made me like wonder like like with the voting process. And like I saw an interview with Ebro. He said that there were over 300 people that voted. Each person got 25 albums and they got to list the albums themselves, right? Mm-hmm. And then like some of the people that were like listed were like Billie Eilish, Niles Rodgers, Charlie XCX, Alicia Keys, J Balvin, like people like that. And then like, you know, like Apple had like their collection of Brain Trust or whatever like that.
Bro,
and,
like not to putting putting SOS on this list instead of Control is nuts.
I think they did that because of which album is the album that's like charting like insanely? Is it SOS or is it Control?
Both of them. Like Control came out in 2017 and didn't leave the charts until like last year.
Okay. I think SOS, the way SOS has been charting, like I guess like that was maybe it was recency bias, because I like Blonde, but I don't like Blonde to be top 10 albums of all time like that.
Yeah.
I don't even think Blonde is better than Channel Orange. And maybe I haven't revisited Blonde in a minute. I got it on vinyl. Maybe I need to give it a spin. But I felt like there was a lot of recency bias, and I felt like they didn't have enough people in the know for that category. So for R&B, we absolutely know they didn't have enough people that work in the R&B realm to be represented. I felt like other genres were represented well. I'll be honest with you. I don't think country music was represented well in there. I know a lot of people don't give a fuck about country music. I do.
Yeah.
R&B and country music weren't represented well in that list.
This is nuts. D'Angelo number 57 for Voodoo.
Yeah, like I think like, well, I will say this. I think that the 100 albums that they pick, I can live with the 100 albums that they pick.
Yeah.
And that's like, and like that's what I'm not mad at. But I just think the ranking, Confessions being so far down the list doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even talking about sales, but we were just saying, like, as far as our criteria, it hit the nail on everything. It was cool.
Impact.
It had that impact. It just did that. Like, you're not going to tell me that album didn't do that.
And I wouldn't put Ready to Die before I put Life After Death.
Agreed. Also, the Illmatic was ranked too low for me. Illmatic should have been in the top 10. Illmatic should have been a representation of hip hop.
Illmatic was number 39. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy should have been in the top 10, top 20.
I agree. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't think that it was I don't think that they did a good job with the understanding of that. Like, we got like some of the quintessential hip hop albums. Like, you know what I'm saying? We got a Tribe album on there. We got a Biggie album. We got a Dr. Dre album on there. Eminem album, a Jay-Z album made it. A Nas album made it.
Yeah.
Like there were like quintessential like hip hop albums that like have to go on there. Mm-hmm. Eric B and Rakim's Paid in Full didn't make it. I'm not happy that I didn't make the list, but I can understand why it didn't.
I can understand why. Well, I don't know. Well, why would you think that it didn't?
I think that they probably were like, all right, this album was groundbreaking, but this album didn't tell a story, or like I feel like they justified it by saying that this album was a collection of just really good songs rapping by Rakim.
I mean, that's what Enter the Wu-Tang is. It doesn't tell a story.
Enter the Wu-Tang, I mean, yes and no.
Because that shit is, I mean, it's a great album. I'm just saying this is me just pointing out that they're
you're right, they weren't consistent.
Criterion is inconsistent.
I get you.
That's all. But they did what they wanted to do. They wanted niggas to just talk, you know?
Nah, like that's why I'm okay with. Me and Sarah were actually talking about that, because Sarah was saying like she's over list and she thinks that it doesn't, it's pointless. It doesn't make sense. Why can't we just enjoy music? And like I was like kind of sick looking at it, because I was like, yo, that's my fucking entire being. Like, all I want to do is compare and debate shit.
Yeah. I get it, because if I look at the positive of this and being a music lover, people are going to go to these albums and they're going to visit them. And the bulk of them, a good percentage of these albums are hip hop albums. And I feel as though some people, at least for the curious mind, if they haven't heard some of these albums, they're going to say, well, why the fuck is this album top 10? Why is this top 20? And they're going to go listen and they're going to run those streams up. So that's going to be great.
Another, I'm a try to wrap this up. Another thing that was very disappointing was to find out that a lot of people that I respect in hip hop journalism don't listen to other genres of music outside of hip hop and R&B.
Oh yeah, I figured that. I mean, a lot of
it's disappointing, bro, because it's like I don't want to hear your opinion on this list. I want to hear your opinion on the hip hop list.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're talking about, because that means if you never heard Smells Like, if you never heard Nevermind, but you know what I'm saying, like, then you can't tell me that Nirvana don't belong on the list.
Yeah. A lot of people, their scope is just too small.
Yeah, like you can't, like, I realize I listen to a very wide range of music that a lot of people don't. Like in the top 10, I own 8 out of the 10 albums on vinyl physically. Like I physically own them. And so, like, when some people were like making the jokes and they were like, "What's that?" or like, "I've never listened to REM," or this, and I'm like, damn, like, I'm not trying to say I'm like some super duper music man, but there's albums that I genuinely enjoy that some people are saying that they've never even knew existed. And like some of these albums are like quintessential projects.
Yeah.
So hearing some of my idols that I like really look up to say that they've never heard a project kind of disappointed me. But I will say that I challenged one of them and they actually responded back. Like I spoke to them in the DM, Rob Markman. Shout out to Rob Markman. I was like, I would like for you to listen to the Beast Boys Pet Sounds and do a YouTube episode on it. And he was like, damn, like, all right, like, like here we are. I was like, or at least do Nirvana, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like that, like that's his era.
Yeah.
Like, how you didn't listen to that? He was like, yo, I'm from Brooklyn, bro. I was like, come on with that shit. Don't give me that.
Yeah. But I get what he means though. Like when it's not necessarily about where you're from, but like your surroundings. Like who was he around that's listening to Nirvana or listening to Beastie Boys or the Beatles?
I guess for me, I watched MTV. Like, obviously, I had an aunt that listened to a wide range of music that put me on a lot of stuff. But bro, like watching MTV, like I wasn't that kid that like if I was watching MTV and like something came on that I didn't like, I would immediately turn to BET. I would just continue watching it and like just be like, all right, let's see, let's see like what's going on. So I would like get into it and like listen to watch Headbangers Ball or just watch like the countdowns and shit like that. Like I didn't shun it out. So I guess that's like where I come from with it. But overall, like are you cool with the top 10 of the Apple Music top 100 albums?
No, I'm not.
No?
I'm cool with them being on the list, but the placement is not what I'm rocking with. I think
Lauryn Hill.
Huh?
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Thoughts?
I love the album. It can definitely rock out in top 10. But Miseducation of Lauryn Hill over Thriller is nuts.
Okay. I got something for you. And this is just me being just trying to like exercise my debating skills. Thriller obviously influenced people to want to make music and do things, right? The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, how many female artists that come out that say that album influenced them? We got Kehlani, we got SZA, we have Alicia Keys, we have Beyonce, freaking like who like the art like Ari Lennox, like all of these like women, like Rhapsody, like all of these women that have come out, since 1998 and like that have been at the forefront of music that say that they're influenced heavily by this album. Shoot, men as well, right? Yeah. So would you like, is it just that like Thriller holds that spot because of like what it did back then? But if you think about it, the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, the lore around that album, it kind of holds its own in the modern day time.
Absolutely,
got the critical acclaim, like
it absolutely holds its own. I'm not arguing that. I'm saying if I'm looking at Thriller and what that did, because Thriller is not even, in my opinion, Off the Wall is better, right? But you got to recognize Thriller, just like in my opinion, and I think we've agreed on this before. It Was Written is better than Illmatic, but you got to put Illmatic
enjoyable.
Okay, but you got to put Illmatic on a list like this.
Yes,
Thriller on a list like this.
Yes,
right.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, I think my point in saying that everyone that you listed fully understand that, but I think with Thriller, not only was it career defining for Mike, it was defining for like artistry, like just for like the presentation of shit. the craftsmanship, the creativity, the free flowing of creativity. Like the fucking we learned about the moonwalk through this album. We like and it was concise. Like,
well, yeah, because Thriller is the album of what a pop album should sound like. It's a collection of different genres on one album.
Blueprint for pop.
Yes,
that's what
it's the blueprint for a popular album of pop music. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. And today in popular music, it still holds that weight because they're all chasing something like that.
Right.
Like,
I think
the moonwalk, like with a popular album, all them niggas want TikTok dances, and he had his own dance with it, right? Like
cooking, Regg.
Like this is basically in this era. They're all looking at
saying that Thriller influenced TikTok, nigga,
bro. That's why it should be.
Okay. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Regg, that break Regg ain't get rusty not one bit. But yeah, okay. No pushback there. Yeah, Lauryn Hill definitely had her moment, but I definitely okay. I do think this though. I think like they're just trying to usher in a new guard. Like they can't like parade Michael Jackson around. He's not here. So I think that they did that because, you know, I'm not saying like Lauryn didn't deserve it, but I think Lauryn is physically here. She's working on new music. It's probably a deal with Apple Music. Mm-hmm. I'm doing the math. I'm doing the science. I think that they wanted to make Lauryn as happy as possible. And what I've learned over time is, how do you keep an artist happy? You give them awards on your platform.
Politics as usual.
Hey man, that's like, bro. Like think about how many global icon awards Michael Jackson got to get out of his Captain Crunch robe and come to the award show.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
Yeah, I mean it happens. I think it just would have looked so much more fly if they came up with that award and they went to Quincy Jones' crib and not only gave it to him but interviewed him.
You're right, but Quincy's daughters probably said no, he can't have no company because he might say something crazy.
Yeah, and that's what I want. That's what we want.
That's what you want. But we got an album to get into, right?
Yes, we do. We do. We have an album to get into, which is not a smooth. Well, this gentleman wasn't even on the list actually, of the 100 best albums. I don't know if he would have an album that would be on there though.
No, the hell he wouldn't.
Yeah. Okay. But nonetheless, Mr. Tity Boi, 2 Chainz. And we're talking about True Religion. This was released November 1st, 2011. It's his 7th mixtape from 2 Chainz and officially kicked off his rebrand. It was led by the single Riot, one of the lead singles, and peaked at number 15. The project has amassed over 1 million downloads on Dat Piff, which in the Dat Piff stratosphere categorizes as a diamond mixtape. The tape features Big Sean, Jadakiss, Meek Mill, T.I., Jeezy, Birdman, and a few others on there. Wiz Khalifa. Yeah, tell me about 2011 True Religion. How'd you feel?
The funny thing is that when this came out, because I lived in Atlanta for a little while, I always knew him as Tity Boi. So when I saw like the name 2 Chainz, I was like, oh, who's this new guy? And I was like, damn, this new guy sounds like Tity Boi. And then I had to put everything together, and what he was doing was so like brilliant because like he's been around the industry for a long time, and I think that when this project came out, it like hit like nationwide, because before this project he had his other mixtape that came out, Trapavelli Volume 2.
Yeah,
and so then by the time that this project came out, like it became like nationally known because he was like touring and doing shows and stuff like that, and like he had like a lot of strong relationships with dudes in the industry. So when it first came out, I was just like, I was like, yo, like this sounds like something. And like, you know, the cover was pretty cool. Like you remember when you met me, Mr. True Religion down, all that shit, and like Hurry Up the Times and shit, right? So it wasn't like his lyrical ability, it was just like the shit he was saying and the way that he rapped, it was like fresh and new, and it was right on time. It worked for him. Like he wasn't ahead of his time. He wasn't like too late. Like he was right on time with how he rapped, right? So when I heard it, I just knew like, all right, something's gonna go here. Like, you know, the production team that he's using and everything like is gonna like get some traction. I was just like wondering, I'm like, damn, I wonder what happened with him and Ludacris. And then like, you know, we found out later on, like, you know, he got himself out of his deal and just went directly to Def Jam.
Yeah, he never said anything bad about Luda though.
Oh yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was anything bad for him to say about Ludacris, but it was just like, yo, he was around and like Ludacris kind of like, you know, he had the DTP albums and stuff like that, but it really wasn't like a push. Because remember, prior to that, he had the Duffel Boy song and like it did well, but like I guess, you know, it felt like, well, Ludacris didn't like put his all into it as an executive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're comparing Disturbing the Peace to like a label like Rockefeller or Rough Riders or Murder Inc., like, you know, and you're an artist, you could say like, yo, like outside of Chingy, who really got a push?
Yeah, I was rooting for Shauna as being like, you know, she was from Chicago, you know, Midwest. She could really, really spit. I was rooting for her. But DTP didn't really do enough, and I had that debut out too.
Yeah, I just think that was the situation with that. But yes, this project came out. It caught my attention immediately. I went and listened to it. I was enjoying it. It was kind of like giving me like the tone of like what was happening in Atlanta at that time, because that like this was like the second renaissance of Atlanta. It's funny, right? Like how that happened.
Yeah.
Like Atlanta had like the crunk era, then it had like it had the crunk era and the original trap music era where it was, you know, Gucci, Jeezy, T.R., right? And then like it died down because like snap music became so popular.
Yeah.
Right. So Atlanta was still on the rise, but like people were like making fun of it. And then like I guess like people could say mumble rap became like a thing, right? And I guess you could like people would blame that on like the Migos and like Travis Porter and shit. But 2 Chainz pretty much kind of like brought the element of like trap music, but like working with the newer producers that were like leading the way.
Mm.
And like he was kind of like one of the faces of that. You know, like when Future was on the rise, like he was on the rise as well. So like that's why like how I just like I see it like, you know, kind of like it was like a changing of the guard. Like Jeezy, Gucci, T.I., those guys were like the elder statesmen. And even though 2 Chainz was their age, he was still a new artist to a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay. I think for me around this time, it took me a minute to listen to True Religion. Because back then when it came out, I mean, I heard Riot. That was like the joint, right? And then I heard Spend It. Spend It was going crazy.
For me, like, you want to know what's funny? Riot, I missed Riot. Like Spend It is what reeled me in.
Yeah. And T.I. fucking bodied that. Spend It was everywhere. And then KO with Big Sean.
Okay.
That shit was everywhere too. So like slowly but surely I was getting pulled to this project, but like I didn't really get pulled to listening to 2 Chainz solo shit until his Good Music run. That's when I started like really, really listening to his shit. And then I went back and I found this and I downloaded it from that piff. And I remember my reaction to it was like, oh, this shit is hard. Like he's really, really not the same person that I first started listening to. Like it just felt like an upgrade, like a refresh. And it was like one of the first proper rebrands that I remember seeing. Cause it's like, you know, he still, I felt like his look, like his image, his swag, everything was like, oh,
right. He figured out something that what he did was smart. He was signed to a label and he was on a label with a superstar. And I think a lot of artists that were like popular, like signed to labels during the 2000s when like there was like a bunch of labels, could have learned from 2 Chainz. He was a weed man, so everybody that came through Atlanta that needed weed, he was able to get it for him. Like he was the plug, right? He built relationships to the point where he knew he can get verses from anybody in the industry, and like he learned everything that he needed to do. So it's like I think like 2 Chainz and Jim Jones, I would say, are like geniuses when it comes to this thing. Like they learned how to do everything themselves and how to like make the money work for them. and then they were able to like create careers for themselves and make hits and like pretty much go further than some dudes that were way more talented than them, but they had the work ethic and the know-how to get around the industry and do those things and become stars in their own right.
Yeah.
While standing next to like artists that were really, really popular, like Jim Jones with Cameron and Mase, and then you got 2 Chainz, who learned, from watching Ludacris and being close friends with Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
He was able to like 2 Chainz was able to like carve out something for himself and like really like make like a name for himself. And like his career should have been done after Duffel Bag Boy didn't like take him further or anything like that. It should have been over. But like he was really smart and really determined, and that's why I respect him more than anything. Like like he loves all these fucking acronyms and everything like that, and like he's very like a very in the moment person. But I will say I respect how he did that, because most artists would have quit.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree. And not to mention, him finding that affiliation with Kanye. I think any other artist would have just signed to good music, and he didn't do that. Like he used that partnership and that affiliation to really, really get his name out there.
He was around the business too long to get caught up in that shit. It was no way.
Yeah. So let's see. We kick off with Got One, which off rip feels so nostalgic to it.
This album is fucking timestamp, bro.
Yeah, it's so 2011. A lot of the joints on this album, I kept feeling that way. Like as I was listening, damn, like this shit really sounds like that year. Like I remember exactly what I was doing that year when I downloaded this.
Yeah, bro. Like, this album was really very much so like a timestamp project for me. Like when I listened to it, I'm like, yo, I remember exactly where I was for this song, or like, times like when I was like driving with one of my boys, like going on like a dumbass trip to like New Jersey for no reason. We was just playing this project, like just having like small memories. Like this album, I'll say this at the beginning, this album isn't timeless. This album is timestamp.
It's not timeless at all. And then you got Understatement, which, man, I miss Lex Luger, man. I don't know, like,
yeah, what happened to that nigga?
Bro, I don't know. Like, I think at that time, because 2011 was a big year for him too. You had Watch It From Home. He was all over that. You had the shit that he did for Ross. Like he was everywhere. I think I do remember him being frustrated that everybody wanted the same sound.
Oh, that's what happened. Everybody wanted his drums. Okay.
Yeah, like that shit that he did. Yeah, but I
thought him and Young Chop were gonna be like,
yeah, Young Chop. Oh man, yeah, but like he had a time. But I say that to say Understatement was a hit. So many dates on my calendar.
All right, so I gotta come clean. Listening to this project was so cringe for me, Reg. It was hard. Like my notes are like very like short. Like it's very much like straight to the point, because like I'm thinking about like, all right, when this album came out versus now, and I'm like, yo, 2 Chainz was really just saying a bunch of bullshit. Like 2 Chainz really just says like, he finds really expensive things. That's how he got to show expensive shit. And like talks about it, or like talks about things that he wants. Like he would like 2 Chainz was really, really talking for the dope boys in Georgia at that time. I mean, dope boys across the world. Yeah. And like it's talking about like material things that they want and things that they want to buy. And like I feel like on every fucking track is the same song.
It is. It kind of is. It like, but that's the thing. That's like, but then you got to be a genius in that sense, right? To know what works for that moment.
Yeah.
A lot of these rappers, they're not making shit. Like there's rappers that make shit for the moment to capitalize off that shit and to make a quick buck. Then there's other rappers that make shit that they want to intentionally stand the test of time.
Right.
Ongoing battle for the listeners is trying to determine who makes what.
You're right about that. Like, that's true. I guess for me, I enjoyed 2 Chainz's first album so much.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how bad this mixtape sounded to my ears, and I was like, wait a second, let me go listen. Let me go listen to this debut project from him, and I still enjoy it. And I'm like, yo, why the fuck? Like basically what I'm saying is like I'm also impressed at like how like musically he grew so fast in such a short amount of time for that first album. Because the first album is good. I could still listen to it. This mixtape, Regg, I regretted suggesting that we do this mixtape. I wanted to change it so bad. Like, you don't understand. Cause like I'm like, yo, like I love 2 Chainz as an artist. I remember the first South by Southwest I went to, there was a showcase and Schoolboy Q came. No, yeah, 2 Chainz was performing and Schoolboy Q came out with him, right? And fans were like reacting to it. Like, so I posted the video and fans was like, yo, like, I can't believe Schoolboy Q put this nigga on his album. Like, this nigga sucked.
He killed
like,
that verse too.
People hated 2 Chainz, bro. Like, and yeah, you're right. He did kill that verse. He actually, what we need to talk about is his feature run that year.
Yeah,
that's the most impressive thing.
Yeah, his feature verse was. I mean, his feature run was crazy.
His feature run from 2011 to 2012 to the end of 2012. So from 2011 to 2013, 2 Chainz had a feature run that was insane. Yeah. I think like that feature run is up there with that feature run that Wayne had and that feature run that Future had.
Yeah,
and I think I'm missing an artist. There's another artist who had a crazy feature run. T-Pain as well.
T-Pain? Yeah.
So up there, like J. Cole.
Oh, and Cole, yeah. Cole had a great feature run too, but more recently though.
Yeah, more recently.
Right,
but Wayne definitely had the feature run of all feature runs, but 2 Chainz feature run for that 18-month period or whatever you want to say. I definitely give it up to him. I clap. Like I give him all.
He has some great. I'm looking at some of them now. Like he was on
I can name them. I wrote them down.
He was on Push's album. Yeah, he was on.
He was on. You got Feds Watching, Mercy, Fucking Problems, Bands That Make a Dance, Bees in a Trap. What is this one? DJ Primo's. My moment. This song, My Moment. I don't even know where that one's from. But like these songs were like hit songs.
Yeah.
Huge hit songs.
It wasn't just like him popping up. Oh, Nicki too. Nicki had great.
Nicki had a great feature run. Yes,
yeah. Her feature run was crazy. But yeah, let's see. So on the anniversary version of this, he added 2 more songs. And I think those were Regg with Big Sean, and he added the one with Wiz. The one with Wiz is Sofa. So they both, and they sound like they were recorded fairly recently. No, or like not in that time frame, but they made them sound like it. I don't know if they were just add-ons. But they fit the scope of this mixtape pretty well. Like
it does.
Yeah.
But like I said again, I can't wait to be like I don't ever want to hear this project again. I'm
yeah. So we can I can just name like some highlights and then we can move on from this, honestly. So I do really like I said, the KO joint with Big Sean. The joint with Wiz. Spend It is great.
Spend It, that's the song.
Yeah, that's the song. And then you got Stunt is terrible. I hate that song with Meek.
Yeah.
And remember Creation?
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it. It's not Creation. It's Creation, the white girl.
I thought it was Creation because it's Krea. Why?
Probably right. You know I can't pronounce shit right. So
yeah,
I just always call it Creation.
Yeah, but that's how you notice the timestamp. Like Creation is on here. Like that's crazy.
Remember how in love Felix was with her? Like,
Felix used to really try to like. Felix just be arguing shit just to practice arguing because there's no way.
I guess.
Yeah. What about you? What are some standouts for you?
Spend It. That's it. Like I don't. Like I said, that's it. Like I know it's the lead single and everything. Well, the second single, but like I'm being genuinely honest with you. I don't ever want to hear another song from, like, that's how I'm gauging it. I don't want to hear another song from this mixtape ever again, minus Spend It. That's all I need from this mixtape.
Okay.
Like, I prefer Based on the True Story, his debut album.
Oh, for sure. Based on the True Story, total package.
Yeah, like with this project, like a lot of the songs sound the same. None of them are as compelling to me as they were when they came out. The songs didn't age well.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't make me want to like go back to them. Like I definitely understand that at the time, like he was pretty much depicting what was happening in Georgia.
Yes, I think he was. And then also it kind of goes to show, I'm trying to think what other Atlanta artists came out in 2011. Like with projects.
That came out with projects. Let's see. Let's just look it up right now. We got computers in front of us.
Yeah. Let's see.
You said 2011 or 2012?
2011, because that's when this came out.
All right, so let's see. Killer Mike put out The Pledge, so like that one already doesn't, because you know we know like people don't even count Killer Mike as an Atlanta artist.
Yeah.
Let's see who else I can find. If I'm missing somebody, I think T.R.U. Jeezy dropped Thug Motivation 103.
Ah. Okay. Okay.
Really, only two Atlanta.
Yeah, because I'm like, you know, I mean, you said something that just stood out just now, where it's like rappers that came out with shit, and he was just representing for that time frame.
Nah, yeah, like I definitely think that he represented Atlanta, like he like at the forefront. Like I think T.I. might have been in jail at that time, or on his way to go to jail. So yeah, like 2 Chainz like kind of like was waving the flag for Atlanta at that time, heavy.
Yeah, it was a different approach. And the scale, it was a lower scale because it was a mixtape, so it was more loose, you know.
Right. But mixtapes were like booming in Atlanta. Everybody like the funny thing is everybody was putting out mixtapes in Atlanta like heavily. So the fact that like 2 Chainz was able to like, you know, like shine amongst that like is also impressive.
Yeah, that's true. And also these very impressive features that he has on here, you know.
Relationships with that good ass weed he had.
Yeah, he had some he had some great relationships on here.
Yeah, they said 2 Chainz had that Snoop Dogg.
Oh, word for
yeah, they said he had that. They said that he was getting rapper weed, as what they call it. They said you had that shit.
Oh, that's fire. Hey man, leverage some relationships. But yeah, this mixtape revisit was not as fun as I thought it would be.
Yeah. You see, I kept stopping you from doing the track by track. I was like, right.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing track by track. So yeah, no, we can kind of just get to this rating. What's your rating?
2 out of 5 waffles. 2 out of 5 waffles for my rating. It's not an indictment on 2 Chainz because, like, you know, it was for the time, it did its job, but this project has no replay value for me. I only want to hear one song ever again. And that's no disrespect to 2 Chainz. Please don't take it as disrespect. It's just a preference. I prefer your debut album, which is amazing, and I listen to all the time.
Yeah, and I share those same sentiments. Like I'm feeling like a 2 I'm feeling like a 2 out of 5 waffles. I think 2 Chainz has shown us so much more than this project offers. Like he's given us even his debut official project based on a true story was pretty good. And album wise, he's gotten so much better. Like he at one point he was like one of the most improved rappers. That's what
man. And that's all thanks to LeBron James.
Oh, you think so? Nah, no way. He was better before that.
Give him 2 more.
Yeah, give him. Yeah, LeBron really thought he invented the bonus songs. Yo, he's LeBron. But anyway, I'm feeling a 2 out of 5 for this. Listeners, viewers, let us know what you think. Let us know in the comments if you revisit this album, if you like this album, if you think we're bugging out and it's a classic. Let us know. We want to hear it. I'm First Class Regg.
And I'm Taurian B.
Hey, we out of here.
Catch you next time.
Dun dun.